Wow, Happy New Year. This is Penelope Flynn here with your other Blerdsassins Next Door with James, Otto, Nikki, and Sonia. And we're here on this lovely January 4th, 2026, the new year, first show of the new year. And thank you for joining us. And as usual, as we get started, we're going to talk a little about the weather before we slide into our New Year's resolutions. So, James, you're top center. How's the weather?
It's cloudy and it's about 33 degrees. For the last couple of days, we've had a little bit of snow,
Wow.
but it didn't stick. So
So, what's the temperature then if your
30,
snow isn't sticking?
33.
33. But it should stick with that, right? We're just not doing it.
I guess so, but you have to call up that department. I don't know what guard is doing. So
I thought you always knew. You
no,
always know what's going on with the big
no,
boys.
I'm down in the basement in the mailroom, so I
Oh,
don't know.
okay. Understood. Understood. Okay.
Yeah,
That's why you always know all the news before everyone else, because you're in the mail room in the
right.
basement. Okay, cool. All right. Well, Nikki, how about you? How's the weather?
Um, it is 78 degrees and cloudy here.
That's it. 78 and cloudy.
Yep.
Has it been that way all week, or is it this is just
It's been
for today?
cloudy off and on all week. And Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, so thank you.
Happy New Year. Real quick, your boys were in New York City about 2 weeks ago.
Uh, Were they good?
I don't know. They were at the Beacon. I That was a Monday. I was at work.
Oh, okay.
Mm,
They're too
oh well.
expensive for me to see, though. I'm sorry, James. They just too expensive.
Yeah, yeah. That's the way it is with concert tickets these days.
Yep, yep, yep. I should
Mm-hmm.
know. I got people in my house that still want to go to concerts, and when they tell me the price of this stuff, I'm like, wow.
Mm-mm.
I used to think $100 was a lot for a concert
Me
ticket. I'm,
too.
I'm dating myself.
I remember when the Jacksons I said $40 a ticket and everybody was like, "Excuse us?"
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, people
Now
aghast.
that won't even get you nosebleed seats.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
crazy.
No.
All right.
Mm-mm.
Well, thank you.
Okay, I'm having internet issues. I'm going to come back right back.
Okay, cool, but we can hear you. All right. Otto, tell us about your weather.
We're blessed, actually. It's 58 degrees going up to 63.
Mm-hmm.
Last couple of days, we had like 80 degrees where we were.
Mm-hmm.
So it's to me, it's right where it should be.
Okay.
Oh, that's 60, 70-degree weather.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only place to live in this red hellhole. So,
Yeah. So you say, man.
how's
All right.
Cranston doing? Do you know?
Yeah, I was just asking before we got started, before you came in about Cranston. Had anybody heard from him? I know he was hoping to be, out of the uh what is called it, the facility by I guess this past week before New Year. But who's to say? Because there's also the possibility they may have stopped by, to see his family members for New Year's. So it's possible he may be there too.
You said facility, you mean hospital or you mean something else?
Rehab.
Hospital.
Oh,
Yeah,
rehab?
rehab. Yeah, rehabbed, right. Well, or maybe he's having phone issues too, because that happens as well. All right. So, guys, I guess we're going to talk a little bit about our New Year's resolutions. And I know some of us do them yearly, some, every now and then, some rarely, if ever. Yeah, but if you do them, what do you recall? Were your resolutions, and how far did you get on them? Of course, it was definitely our I guess our intention this year to actually go back to the previous show to see what it was that we actually resolved to do. And of course, even though I did all the things I was supposed to do within decent time, the one thing I did not do was pull up the old resolutions. So, those of you who remember what you resolved and whether or not you did it, it would be nice to tell us now whether those things were good resolutions, bad resolutions, what you did, what you almost did, what you modified, or kind of what you
Well,
abandoned.
Penelope, we had a discussion with Nikki earlier, and
Mm-hmm.
in her cranky way, she said she didn't do New Year's resolutions. I want to hear why. I didn't really hear why.
Because I don't need to do a resolution. I'm just happy to live another year, Otto.
But isn't it just like just a thing that
All
somebody.
right, all right. Just
Hold
stop.
on, hold
I'm
on. Let me
too
finish what I'm
lazy.
saying.
I'm too lazy to think of a
I would say
resolution.
I
All
would say
right.
no,
Dad.
no, no. I was gonna
I'm
say
trying to get deep here now.
no, no. It's like you say Happy New Year, but somebody sneezes, you say
Mm-hmm.
Gesundheit. No, God bless you. It's like somebody asks you, "Hey, what's your resolution?" And you say, "Fuck you, you ain't." And
That's it. That's it.
Okay. All right.
That is
Yeah.
it. Thank
So
you,
what's
Otto.
your
That is
resolution? You
it.
don't have any resolution. What's your New Year resolution?
I ain't got one.
And you're not gonna make. You're not even gonna say.
I'm
Somebody
not
say
even
hi
gonna
to you.
sit
You're not
here
even
and
gonna say
think
hi
about.
back.
I'm not even gonna sit here and think about one. If I'd be lying to you if I said I am.
It's courtesy.
I'm being honest.
It's like somebody say hi to you and you say fuck off.
What? Wait a minute. I got a
Okay.
question to ask. Why you always gotta make my life so
No, I'm
difficult?
just saying these are things that societal norms. I mean, we're drifting
Ain't
to
no
societal
societal
norms.
norm about no damn New
Everyone
Year's
isn't it a
I'm with
resolution.
Nikki
societal
on
norm?
this one.
You
Thank
also don't
you.
like doing the resolutions.
No.
Why
Why? Why
make
did you?
something? Why make something you know you're going to break? At least
Thank you.
do something you know. Find a different way to strive towards
Okay,
something
okay,
instead
The
of
okay.
last time I
Sonia, let
made
me
a
let
New
me
Year's
let me get on
the
you.
last
Uh,
time I made a New Year's resolution, I was in the fifth grade. And I
Let
broke that mess the first week. Okay,
but let
so
me
I
let me
said,
say this to Sonia. Let me say so somebody say to you, hey, how you doing?
hey,
And you say, oh, good, fine. How you doing? It's a
yeah,
courtesy.
no, you
this
don't.
ain't got nothing to do with
What's
no
your
New
this
Year
your New Year
resolution
resolution?
saying hi to
You can make
somebody.
something up.
I started on what I wanted to accomplish in
mm,
December.
okay.
I promised myself that this health scare was going to be the last one I had because
Okay.
God was giving me too many signs. So I
Mhm.
started working towards it. I didn't make any resolution, and I'm not going to kill myself if I don't. I'm not going to
That's
be
right.
hard on myself if I don't do everything
Oh, but
every single day.
okay.
Exactly.
So I have a question for you then, Sonia.
Uh
When you
huh.
say that, do you feel like when people make resolutions that they are adding, a lot of extra tension, burden to themselves,
Yeah.
that it makes them feel bad,
It
or
makes, yeah, because if you break your resolution, then you feel horrible for the rest of the year going, I couldn't even keep a resolution. Instead
No,
of
I don't feel
make
bad. I'm just like, oh
instead
well.
of saying I'm making one step at a time towards my goal,
okay. Well, I mean, I gotta
whatever
say,
the
Sonia,
goal happens to be.
well, when you say that, I guess in a way I'm kind of have to agree with you on that because there a lot of times you resolve to do a thing, then for whatever reason you don't do it, and then yeah, you feel guilty, of like a failure,
Hmm.
because you didn't do that thing
But Penelope, I
that
don't
you
feel that
swore you would
way.
do.
I feel if I
Hmm.
make a resolution and I break the resolution, then I blame people who prevented me from making getting my resolution. Like my family members and friends. But people
Okay.
Why
I
are
don't
you putting
What?
guilt on them for something you didn't do?
yeah, I blame you.
Oh no. You know what? I've heard it all.
You
I
know,
have heard it
Oh
all.
boy.
mine was I'm getting healthy. Over
Why should I
Christmas,
blame myself? Why should I blame myself? I mean, the
I
reason.
lost 50 pounds, which is 25 less than I had lost last year because I put it
That's
all right
good.
back. I didn't blame anybody for falling
Oh,
off the wagon. I took the health scare and I was like, okay, this time I'm doing better. So far, I'm holding true.
Hmm.
And
but
it's
see,
not
that,
my
that, that's like
family's fault, and it's not my friend's fault. It's my fault that I let my fat ass get into the health situation I was in.
you're missing the point of resolution. The point is to blame people. Like if I didn't make my resolution today, I would blame you and Nikki for messing up my
But
Hmm.
but
resolution.
it's not it's not even technically the
Well,
new year. Lunar
well,
New Year doesn't start until February.
See, that's
well.
another thing. That's
Calendar
Why
so
you
why
want
year
y'all
to
is
don't make
this.
it
time
a Happy
out,
New Year? Then
everybody? Excuse me, Otto. Why you want to blame me for everything?
why
He
you say
wants to
happy? Why are we
It's
saying Happy New Year to everybody? Are you gonna be technical about it? Why are we saying Happy New Year?
happy calendar year. And I'll
Because
say
I
Happy
say
New
it
Year
because
on the 17th of February too.
Uh-huh.
I
Okay,
say
cool.
I'm gonna
Happy New
put you in
Year
a box.
because
I'm gonna
everybody
put you in a
else is
pot of
Can I
boiling
celebrating.
can I
oil.
can I say something?
For
Can I say
Go
sure.
something?
ahead.
Uh, I have a question for Otto about all that. It's courtesy and all that you're saying about New Year's resolutions.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
sir.
What kind of bovine boulder dash are you talking about?
It's a courtesy.
Stop
Perhaps you
it.
never
It's
heard of
not a
it.
courtesy.
Don't
It's a
have to
And
be.
courtesy.
I'm afraid that you're in the minority here because I myself do not. I did a New Year's resolution years ago not to do New Year's resolutions.
How you doing on that?
Perfect.
But
All
that's
right,
what
look at him.
that in of itself is hypocritical. To do a resolution, not to do a resolution.
That's the last one I did.
But you did it was a resolution. You kept
Yeah.
it.
And see, I don't have to worry about resolutions anymore because I don't. Because, like Sonia says, you make New Year's resolutions and half the time you break them. You break
Oh,
Most
them.
so
resolutions are broken by the second week of January.
Thank you.
what do y'all do when y'all blew out the candles on the birthday cake? Curse? Or you just
No,
Yeah.
make a wish?
I made a wish that I would be better on and better on myself. And finally, 50 something years later, I'm listening.
Oh my
Hmm.
God. Your people are impossible.
No, and with the birthday thing, yes, it was one year I
Mhm.
cursed because I didn't get a drum set for my birthday.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So I mean, come on, New Year's
These some things
resolution, and
y'all have to
especially,
join the human
especially,
race. Yeah, you're free to join the human race.
no, and see, here's the thing with me. I There was at one time going down the river of addiction where every New Year's, oh, I'm gonna make a new resolution not to use substances. By the next day, okay, I'm going to cop. You
Yeah.
know,
So
Yeah.
you weren't
Now, do
realistic about that New Year resolution, huh?
now
But
do
maybe,
you want
but maybe
intentions for the new year? There's a difference.
no,
right,
nobody asked.
Resolutions makes you hard on yourself.
right.
Intentions gives yourself grace.
Nobody asked for that. The thing is, Sonia, when you first came on this show, you said Happy New Year. Now you
Yeah,
say technically it's not a New Year.
I said there's two New Years is what I said.
You
No,
said technically it's
that's
not a
like
New Year.
what
Just like
I don't see how one has to do with the other. Some people do say Happy New Year's and make resolutions. Some people say Happy New Year's and keep it moving. Some people say Happy New Year's and they go in the kitchen and cook up black eyed peas for the New Year.
And collard greens.
Yeah. See?
and other cultures use fish and corn and butternut squash,
What they got to
etc.,
do with
etc.
resolutions, though? What do you?
Well, I had greens this year. Okay.
What they got to do with resolutions, though? You
I
resolve not
don't
to eat
know.
them.
I'm intending
Okay,
to
I'm
take
trying to
better
get off
care
the
of myself.
subject. I'm trying to get off the subject. I'm trying to move on to happier things.
There is happier things. If I try to push you into a happy door, okay, I'm
And
trying to push you to the happy door.
a
And
happy
see,
door.
you just broke your resolution and pushing us all to being happy doers.
That wasn't my resolution, Arthur. My resolution was to blame you from the breaking of my resolutions, which I will do, and no one can stop me. So whether
He's
you're
the
Okay.
happy
king of
about it,
denial.
it's not denial.
Yes, it is.
Never.
You're denying yourself accountability for your actions.
And which makes me happy.
Oh, Oscar.
Um,
he's
Do you
he's
see what you're
hitting
doing to yourself?
he's hitting into Oscar the Grouch now.
Oh, it makes me happy. It
Penelope,
makes me
excuse
happy.
me, Penelope.
Yes, yes.
How was your vacation?
No,
Excuse me?
no, it's a resolution thing. Listen,
How
I
was
made
your
resolution.
vacation?
My resolutions
Vacation
were
was great.
broken
I'm
because
glad to
because
hear
these
that.
people on this panel
Would you take another
undermined me.
vacation like that again?
They
Mm-hmm.
undermined me with their negativity.
You mean like right now?
Yes, I mean, if you had a chance, would you
The
take another
negativity
vacation?
undermined me. Just like saying, "Oh, we don't want to say this."
Mm.
You want to say somebody sneezes.
How
I don't
is
want to say.
being intentional to yourself being negative to you?
No, I mean, if somebody sneezes out,
How is being
that's
intentional for ourselves being negative to you?
Yes.
because you're undermining my enthusiasm. You're basically saying appropriately, inappropriately curb your enthusiasm. You're
We
undermining
never
my
said cure
enthusiasm.
your enthusiasm. We said don't push it on us.
I am pushing on you.
That's
Can't
the
stop
boundary.
doing it. I'm blaming all of you for it now because
Okay,
all of you are
so I mean,
basically
we have okay. James says no to his resolutions, and
horrible,
yes, and Nikki says she doesn't do them. Not since she's a fifth grade.
No.
Sonia
also
says that
horrible,
you have
I do
Sonia says use a
intentions.
guideline to the intentions to do a thing,
Yeah.
also
and then
horrible.
sees how far they go without making it something that's set in stone. That, in fact, let's face it, other people would take and throw back in your face. Didn't you resolve to do blah blah blah? Did you do that?
Still horrible.
Yeah. So, what are your resolutions, Ottos, such that you have one?
My resolutions this year is to not watch any news and only to watch happy, luxurious things that bring joy and peace to my mind.
Hmm.
You know what you should
Good.
do? You should do what I do. What
But I
I
I'm
don't
not
do
think
doing
you're going to
anything
be
is
that
able.
you
I
do.
don't believe that you're going to be able to do that. So I don't think that should be a resolution.
That
Again,
is a
it should
resolution.
be, an intention. But I think to resolve to not do it because there's so much stuff that's going on now that even as we, listen to those that we either agree with or we are interested in hearing what their position is, that we have to find out what is it they're talking about. For instance, somebody says, "Hey, something's going on in Venezuela," and we don't know what it is, then we have to actually, find some news outlet to find out what's going on
I
so we
don't
can
have to.
understand what the person is saying in context.
I don't
So I
have to.
think to not, I mean, I know you don't have to, but you're a person that, likes, to experience full range of knowledge of an issue.
I'm going to stop.
Okay.
That's my resolution to stop.
Okay. To
Why
attempt
why
to make
don't you
that attempt.
use the word goal? Your
Hmm.
Why
goal
can't
is
I
to
use
not.
resolution?
You
What is
can.
what?
You can.
Because when the minute you start digging into the information, like we all know you're going to dig into information, you're going to be, oh, I had resolved not to do
Well, see,
this
that's the thing.
and
By
be
saying
hard
what
on
you said,
yourself.
Sonia, by saying what you said to me, you're undermining my resolution. And if I break it, I'm going to blame you. And that's what
Okay.
you just said
Okay.
it. You just made yourself a
I,
blame
I've
game.
heard this. I've heard this argument come from the White House too.
I don't know about any
Blame.
White House. I don't know anybody in White House. But I know about blaming people. And I'm good at that and I do it well. And I'm blaming people.
Like I said, I've heard this coming
Mm,
from the White
yeah.
House.
I don't care about any White House. The black houses, blue houses, whatever. All I'm
Okay.
saying
Oh,
is this is
it's
my
it's very
resolution.
well, it's very interesting. I did go back and look for my resolution from last year. It appears that I was nowhere near making it, and I think it's because it was much too broad, and I should have been more specific. So this year, I have to be much more specific about what I mean by becoming more jealous with my time. It can't just
So
be
more specific.
yes.
Learn
Instead of
how
just
to
saying
say
So
no in certain
yeah. Oh no, I
situations.
mean those are fine, but I'm saying when I say to
Mhm.
be more jealous with my time, I mean, I don't have a problem saying no to things, but I have to be more specific about what I will do with it. Great.
so
Mhm.
just
You know,
make a New Year's resolution that you resolve to put on your shoes before you leave the house.
thank you. Or like to say, for instance, I'm going to, write for a certain amount of hours a week, or I'm going to do artwork for a certain amount of hours a week. Then I'll do editing a certain amount of hours instead of just saying generally that I am going to be more jealous of my time and not expend it on other people's projects. Up to what projects of mine I'm expending it on and in what measure. Because great, I may have, not put out as much as I normally would in other things, but now I've got to be more specific about what is being put into my own projects and becoming more
Yeah,
organized with that.
and
So
yeah,
that was my
blocking the
resolution.
time, making sure
Hmm.
you have the time blocked off. That's why, even though we haven't followed it all year because of different crises, Kim and I always have blocked out 4 hours every Saturday that we write. We
Hmm.
know that when we don't do it, why we're not doing it, but it's blocked off
Hmm.
so that people know that
Yeah.
that's the time, that's writing time, and only emergencies can interrupt it.
So
Right.
you
And
just
that's the
make
thing, to be able to say that I am going to do these things, the things that I need to do for, like you say, health, welfare, and for my goals, my personal goals. And I think that's the other thing that we have to be more specific about what are the personal goals. And what is my personal goal? And it's really funny because we were saying something in the vehicle yesterday when we were coming back, driving on the road back from our vacation. And one of the upshots from it was that you're making a decision to do a thing, you're deciding to do a thing, but we are not being again specific about the thing that you're going to do. It's one thing to say I'm no longer going to uh, drink beer. Okay, great, but you are going to drink. You're going to go places where people are drinking. So make the decision now. Tell yourself what it is that you're going to drink, so that when that situation occurs, and it will, that somebody's going to offer you the beer, you say no, thank you. I'm not drinking that. I'm going to drink, whatever the thing is that you're going to drink that's other than that. It's one thing to say I'm not going to do a thing, but also to make a specific decision about what is going to fill the void. And I think that's what we don't do enough of saying ahead of time, I'm not going to do this thing, but this is the thing that I am going to do to fill the void of that thing that I normally would have done.
Well, again, for me, I put out goals.
Hmm.
Okay, when I put out goals, I find that I achieve those goals better than sitting
Mm-hmm.
up making resolutions.
Well,
Okay,
I'm going to say
now,
this. This is, for instance, I know when you say, all right, I'm not available on a certain day because I'm going to be writing or
right.
I'm going to be editing, and that you do your writing and you do your editing. And that's the time that you're doing it, and you're out of pocket and you don't make apologies for it. That's just what the schedule is, and everyone has to work around that because that's what you're going to do. And that thing, being jealous with your time that is spent first on whatever it is that your work or your projects are. And so I have to, that it's not going to be more that way, but I have to be more specific about what's being done in that vacuum where I stop doing things that are not related to my health, welfare, or my projects.
Well,
Yeah,
goal is
and
for the
also,
okay.
see, with me, ever since I can remember, Saturdays have always been my time. Okay, since I was a child. So I just that kind of dovetailed into Saturdays, the days that I write,
Hmm.
and it's just my personal time because of the fact that I have to deal with a lot of nonsense at work during the week, and by the time I get home Saturday morning, to use an overused phrase, I'm cooked.
Hmm.
Okay. Case in point, I had to deal with some very unprofessional Generation Z millennials at work. They were supposed to be Verizon salespeople, but they were anything but that. You
Hmm.
know, and so when it comes to Saturdays, there are Saturdays when I don't even get to go to the computer, but it doesn't matter because Saturday for me is written in stone that that's my time.
Absolutely.
That's a goal, but I mean, a goal is nothing but a resolution, really.
Well, tomato, tomato,
You resolve your
Yeah. And the thing is, but I say
Oscar,
goal.
Oscar Otto. It's.
Yeah, I see things wonderful that is a goal. And again, that you don't feel bad about saying, well, can't help, you can't do it because this is the thing that I have planned to do. And that's what I think I have to be much more diligent about. And they're not just setting the goal of, okay, I'm not gonna, I'm gonna be more jealous of my time, but productive,
I mean,
organized
isn't
with
it just
what I'm doing.
the word selfish has been negatively applied, right? So it's okay to be selfish with your time and selfish with your activities, you
I
know?
think to some degree because some people go to the other extreme of being too selfless with their time, then they don't get things done. And when they don't get things done, they become harried and uh, unapproachable when all they had to do was tell people, well, no, I'm not going to have time for that. And maybe feel bad about it for the moment of telling someone, I don't have time to help you or have time to do this thing that you would like for me to do. But also, you're able to get things done such that the next time when they ask you, you'll be able to say, well, yeah, I do have a little bit of time. Then I can dedicate toward whatever that thing is that you want because I'm not so harried, that I'm more organized and more focused. And I think that that has to be a thing, or for myself, that I want to do this coming year, to try and be more focused and organized with my time, as opposed to being jealous with my time, to be more organized with my time.
Well, it's like Nikki's goal probably is to read less Reddit stories and to write more stories.
That's what it
So
should
that's
be,
a
right,
resolution.
Nikki?
That's a
That's a
Right,
great
resolution.
one.
Nikki?
I didn't even think of that because
Hmm.
I'm about to get off the phone right now and listen to a Reddit story.
But you should be getting
Well,
off the phone right now and writing a
I
story
know.
instead
right.
of
You know what?
reading them.
And that's a good idea. I'm gonna think about that as I listen to this one I'm about to listen
Yeah,
to.
See,
yeah.
Okay.
that's the difference between being selfish and also being addicted. So someone who's being addicted can't would go from their normal activities and take a drug, like Reddit
Hmm.
stories, you know. So
I
if you're
know, yeah.
addicted,
I'm all right. I am addicted, everybody.
you is addicted. You're an addict. You like my
And
mom said, you're an addict.
Yep.
she would
And on
be
top of
right
that,
because
not
I
only is
am.
she an addict, she is also a pusher because she then started try to introduce Reddit stories to everybody else.
Right, exactly.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I saw her do
And
it.
it did take to me
Yep,
to get to it.
Well, my younger sister started doing the Reddit stories too.
that's right. My
Yeah.
niece listens to Reddit stories also.
Yeah, I like to actually have to be honest. I don't like listening to those things, but I do like the Chinese
No, no,
revenge
no.
serials. I really like
Addiction.
those. Yeah,
Mine are the
fiction.
Afro Soul ones now. The Afro
Yeah,
SEOUL ones.
yeah.
I
But I mean,
That's
listen
a
I
to.
good
like
too.
them because I like the whole thought, and I said, man, you know what? I should write some of these. You
No, I
know,
never.
for
No, I never
like my
thought
own
about them.
current culture, these stories where the person dies or something like that, and when they die they wake up from this horrible moment that they're dealing with that causes their death to the point right before they make some crucial decision that puts them in the position that they end up being losing their life. Like they marry the wrong person, or they treat someone kindly who was actually stabbing them in the back, and now they know all these things that these people are doing or getting ready to do to them. So now you have to make some changes in your life to avoid the traps that they're setting for you. So I
Uh,
think, yeah, that would be great to write. They're short, so it'd be really good.
question: who's writing these Reddit stories?
I don't know who's writing the
I
Reddit
don't know,
stories, but these
but they're
things I've
just
seen the
good to
China,
listen to.
yeah,
Usually AI.
yeah, but the
Yep.
Chinese ones,
I thought so.
yeah, well,
I
I
thought
don't know about
so.
the Reddits, but the Chinese ones are like they're actually actors and stuff, and they're acting, and obviously it must have been like these short little snippet things they do. They put them all together, the serialized ones, then into one very long thing story. But I think, man, that would be fun to do to write something like that.
But
Those
what if you find
stories
out?
where
What
you're
if what
going
if you find
back.
out that these Reddit stories are written by some far winger person or something? I mean, would you stop reading them?
Yeah,
I doubt it.
I would. It'll take a lot for me to
Doubt it.
do it,
What if I
but I
just tell
would
you that
do
they
it.
are? What if I told you that I found out that they are written by a right winger person?
Then it would
I
be.
think it's probably. I think you're right. It's probably more likely that it's written by either AI or written by somebody who's just doing as a template, who's got a template for writing them, and just kind of
Or
producing it
someone who's
over, yeah,
or someone
different,
who's someone who's supports the guy in the White House. What if that
maybe.
happens? Would
I
you
have
stop
to
reading them?
stop. I just have to cut it out and find
No,
something
you won't.
else.
But my
What if
question
I
is for
told you I found
you.
out that they are?
Okay, okay, this is a question I have. The person that is writing them, it's like you go and look for like a certain person's byline or a certain author, and you follow them, or is it just a certain topic that you follow?
It's just whatever pops up on my thing.
Okay, so they whatever the algorithm is
That yep.
showing.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
But you can usually tell when they're AI because they can't say like words like degree, or one I just listened to changed the protagonist from female to male to female in the same story.
And they can't pronounce people's names right. The lady's name
Right.
is
Well,
But
well,
Clara.
no,
it's
because
fun to
I
analyze
watched.
them and see how they're how what was the prompt they put in to give this
Hmm.
kind of information, even if it's a person writing it. What prompted them to write this
Hmm.
snippet?
Well, for instance, like I said, like the Chinese um programs, like okay, they're I'm sure they little actors and they do these things and like really cheaply done, but a lot of times the translations are off. Like the translations have difficulty with pronouns because sometimes they don't have the male and masculine, feminine pronouns. So they'll say she when they mean he or he when they mean she in the translation. So, but you have to get used to it and realizing, okay, wait, who are they talking about? Oh, yeah, her. They're talking about her. They're saying he, or they
Yeah.
mean her though. Um, but yeah, the translations are kind of off because the translations, of course, are like AI, whatever the translation program is that they're using. But those can be a little off.
I
But
always find it funny
yeah,
that nobody takes the time to actually proofread any of the stuff.
hmm
Like when I just listened to, there's like my 10-year old child's birthday. And I'm like, you
Yep,
guys couldn't even figure out it was 10?
exactly.
because they just
But
throw it into the translator,
Right.
and you have to look at it this way too. If the person, and if it is a person that is writing the story, they may have written it originally in Spanish and just throw it
Hmm.
into the translator and just have the
But
translator just do it. They don't know how to speak English. So
who's to
they're
say
just
that they
relying
wrote it?
100% on the
Who's to
translation.
say that they
Mhm.
But
written it?
I like breaking them down and trying analyzing. It's fast. It keeps you on your toes for editing too.
Who's to say that they're written in the first place, though?
I mean, I didn't say they were. I'm just saying that in an instance, if it was written by a person, that they put it into a translating program and they don't know how to speak that language, they're just having to rely on whatever the translation program does since they don't know how to read it themselves.
Or when you
But
put
some of
it
them
in
I'm
the
sure may not
AI,
be.
yeah, or when you put it in the AI voice thing, you don't proofread to see that the one and the zero were separated,
Mhm.
or you don't write it out phonetically because that will put your
Mhm.
script that you have coming, your captions showing up in phonetically. They don't know to
Yeah,
go
that is
back and edit
yeah,
the
word,
caption.
actual word, yeah.
Yeah, I see what's going on now. So it's okay to have your brain controlled by robots, but you can't make any New Year resolutions. I get it.
No, no. Well, listen, having listened to all of this, like I say, I don't make resolutions. I make goals, and my goal is to stay the hell away from all of that Reddit stuff.
You
All
were gonna
right.
say something else. You weren't gonna say stuff at all.
He was going to
What was
curse.
what was I gonna say?
He was
It's
going to
You remember you're gonna
curse.
say the shit word.
Well, tomato, tomato. You get the point.
Yeah, yeah.
mm.
And why do you make your goal to stay away from that or
Be-
resolution?
because AI is making life miserable for me as it is right about now. I I was doing research for this story that I'm writing, which by the way I had to start all over again because somehow I deleted the whole thing. But I was doing research on the stock market crash in 1929. So I go to
Mhm.
YouTube and I'm looking and I click on a video and I swear I was having like flashbacks of when I used to drop mescaline because the AI, the guy, it was they mixed 1929 with the stock market, or the trading floor with 1929. They mixed it with 2000, I guess, in 25. Because how you gonna have old fashioned tickers and computer screens, and then some guys yelling on the phone, and there's a
I
candle on
can't
top of the
believe that.
phone, and then some guys reading the paper, and he has three arms, and then
Mhm.
it's just a hot mess. It's a hot and the the AI narrator is pronouncing shit weird. I just can't with
Yeah, I
this
mean,
these days.
Penelope and I was watching during Christmas. We were watching Richard Williams' presentation of Christmas Carol,
Mhm.
and it was animated by Chuck Jones and other people. And so we were watching the background, of the show, and it was done by AI, and AI get to go through all the things that allegedly that you didn't know behind
Mhm.
the scenes, and it gets to a picture of Richard Williams, and it shows Venus and Serena's father.
Oh God.
I, it showed Venus and Serena's father. That's what AI. That's what AI, because it pulled Richard Williams, and that's the first picture that it found.
Yeah, and that's what they put out there. Richard Williams.
I just can't with that.
That's showing the complete reliance on AI as opposed to using it as a valuable research tool that you go back and analyze.
Well, it's like putting a knife to your throat and then using it as a tool to either shave yourself or cut your throat.
Right.
To shave, yeah,
And I
exactly.
fault the fact that we don't teach critical thinking in schools anymore for them to go, wait a minute, that can't be right.
Yeah,
Who
but
said
if
they
somebody
teach
doesn't know one
critical
way or
thinking?
the other who Richard Williams is, or whoever, that's what they think that is. They think, oh,
That
Richard
that
Williams.
looks
If they
like
don't
it's a
know that's
black
Serena
guy.
Williams' dad, they just, oh, some black guy Richard
Yeah, it's
Williams
a
did it.
black guy who's Venus and Serena's
Yeah.
father.
I mean, they don't know that. If they don't know that's Venus and Serena's father, they just think,
That
okay,
is
that's Richard
that is.
Williams. That's the
I
guy.
mean, once it's put out there, that's the reality. That's what it is.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just like I saw a sports video about Babe Ruth, and he's at bat the supposedly called shot that he did during, I think, the 32 World Series, and they show the Cubs in the dugout. Okay, fine, except for the Cubs had on uniforms from like this year or last year rather, instead of the old uniforms. I'm like,
But that's what they could capture.
Yeah.
yeah. And so if you have a young person looking at the video, they think that
Hmm.
that's the uniforms that the Cubs wore back then.
And the thing is, I get tricked because I can't tell the difference, because there was a guy who was doing, I forgot the guy's name. He was the Lincoln Project, and he was talking about, the Lincoln Project is a group of
Hmm.
Republicans that disagree with this current administration, and so they do critiques of it, which are pretty good, but they had a guy who was doing it, and it just kept saying in a loop, and then I realized this is AI. This is
Yeah.
not this guy. It's not this guy at all.
Hmm.
And you may like what it's saying, but it's all BS because he didn't say it,
Hmm.
and you take it as being real. And so, to me, AI undermines truth.
It
Yeah.
AI
is.
undermines truth, and
It it does. It
I
does.
think you can say it's a tool, but I think it's a tool. A gun is a tool, a knife is these are all tools.
Hmm. But a lot of people, again, don't know that it's a tool. They think that it's the final thing. It's like taking, like I learned when I was, working, when I took something to the secretarial pool, and I asked them to type it, because my assistant didn't have time to do it, so I took the secretarial pool, and they were supposed to type it. So I sent it them. They typed it up. Then I took it because I had to submit it to someone else. And so when I submitted it to the next person, they called me in and said, "Did you look at this?" So when just like with my secretary, I give her a thing, and I know she's going to type it correctly. Well, I got for their thing, they didn't. It was a mess, and that's what this is like. It's like giving your document to the secretarial pool. It's not like giving it to your secretary, who is going to look at it and make sure it's correct and then come back to you and ask you. They send it to you as if it is the final document, you know, and you think, okay, this is the final document. Say, no, this is just what the AI has done. Now you have to double check it, and make sure that it's actually true.
Because now it's the truth. It's like I did the same thing. I was writing a memo, and I
Hmm.
used the word however, blah, 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 however. And then because of my handwriting,
Hmm.
the person said, instead of however, they used a word that I'd never used. It was moreover. I mean, moreover, not however, but moreover. And so they
Okay.
put that word there. I never used it before. And so
Hmm.
I looked at it. I said, you know what?
Hmm.
This is better than however.
Uh-huh. This
So
is better.
I started, yeah, I started using moreover, but at the same time, that's not what I said though.
Right.
I said however, not moreover.
Hmm.
But using the word moreover made me seem more smart. So
So that's what I did from then
yeah,
on. There we
so I
go.
started using that. But
Hmm.
junk in, junk out is not the garbage in or garbage out, whatever the saying is not applicable to AI.
Right. I mean, because the thing is, you may give them perfectly good stuff in, but it may turn garbage out because it's limited in its ability to understand. Like for
Understand the
instance, like you say,
truth,
getting the
right?
first picture of Richard Williams
Yeah, or the
instead of
cups,
somebody
or the
finding
cup,
the
or the
proper
cups
picture
wearing a
of the
uniform
Richard
that
Williams. Hmm.
for the 21st century, and you think it's real,
Hmm.
and you think Richard
Right.
Williams not only is he the father of Venus and Serena, but he also did an animated version of the Christmas Carol. I think it's true. Because
Uh,
if you're of a certain age, you don't have any point of reference.
That's right. You just don't, and you think that's true, and you don't if you have not programmed your AI to do things like cross checks for this is a picture of Richard Williams. What year was this Richard Williams born? Could this Richard Williams have done that thing? Does this Richard Williams have the picture of have a background in animation? No, it's probably not the right Richard Williams.
But
You know.
if you put in a search term Richard Williams,
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, hate to beat a dead horse, but if you put
Mm-hmm.
Richard Williams in on YouTube, you'll come up with Serena's dad.
First,
You won't put up it won't have a picture of the director of that cartoon show because there are probably very few pictures of that guy.
right, right, if any. You
So it
know,
goes out and captures what it can. It's like, "Hmm,
right, right.
this is what I
Instead of
got."
just not putting a picture up at all because this is not the
Right,
right guy,
exactly.
which is what you're supposed to do. Don't just pick a picture of a guy, but since this is a program and not a person, it probably doesn't give a whole lot of deference to the fact that one person looks different from another person because it doesn't have senses, and those things would not be important.
And another thing I noticed, I don't know if you guys noticed this too, on the AI videos on YouTube. Now it starts this like giving like the video starts doing this thing to make it seem like it's old timey or something.
Hmm.
yeah, that's another thing I can't stand. When you have it'll be a video about something that happened in like the 1980s,
Hmm.
and then they'll put on top of it like the old time scratchy film
Yeah, but
Yeah, 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 yeah.
footage, and
it's
then one
still on
time I was
though.
watching something about a hotel in Los Angeles, and it's like snowing.
Huh.
And I'm like, okay, but maybe it'll snow like once every 50, 60 years in
Yeah.
Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But
In fact, that's one of my goals this year is to kind of cut back on being on the internet.
Hmm.
that's a tough that that's a tough goal and
Yeah.
or resolution. That's tough.
That is very
No,
hard. So much
it's
of what
it's
we do.
yeah, it's tough
Mhm.
because the fact that the internet and online, that's part of my second job as a writer.
Mhm. Right.
Okay, it's also unfortunately part of my first job because I have to use the internet to clock in and out
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
at work on my phone. So it's gonna be hard, but gosh darn it, I'm going to try and
It's
do
one
it
of your goals. It's
because
one of your goals.
I just it's gonna be one of my goals because Farragut Nugan I can't take.
Well, you know what? Like I said, good luck to you, John Glenn, because I gotta tell you,
Mhm.
being on the internet is like 99% of what I do.
Yeah, and see, I understand your resolution, which is also a goal of mine, is to kind of stay away from a lot of the news. You know, it's
Mhm.
gonna be hard, but I have to
Do it.
because, and especially with some of the minutia, some of the stuff. that comes out of Washington. I'm like, they're just trying to get a rise out of people with
Yeah,
certain.
agreed, agreed. Because I mean, for instance, the guy from Venezuela, and they're going to do this, take the oil and stuff. It's like, okay, that's like saying simply because you've kidnapped the head of their government does not mean that you now own their government.
And
It
why
only
this
means
dude?
that
Why
you've
this dude in
kidnapped him.
Brooklyn?
I
Nobody
mean, it
else.
only means that things like always that you've kidnapped him, then somebody else will fill that spot that'll run the government.
But
Him
why
being
this guy?
out, him being kidnapped does not mean that you run their government.
But
Oh
why
my
this guy?
lord, these people.
Why this guy in Brooklyn? Why is he in Brooklyn?
No idea. But I'm just saying, it's like this is
Okay,
not.
that's too easy. That's
Yeah.
too easy material for a joke. I'll pass.
Yes, I mean,
Uh,
you know what? The question is, why send him? I mean, when Noriega was captured, he went to South Florida. That makes sense, right? Because of proximity, right? But why would
mhm.
you send him all the way to New York City, number one? And why, of all places, Brooklyn?
Keep him as far away from anybody who could support him while you send the vice president to Russia.
What?
The vice president's in Russia.
But what I got to do
So,
with Brooklyn?
The
so,
Venezuelan vice president. Keep them separated so that there's
so,
chaos in the country.
But you can send him to Utah or North
so.
Dakota.
I mean, yeah, what does that have to do with anything? I just say, I mean, anywhere they send it to the United States is the same as anywhere else in the United States
Yeah, why
as it
Brooklyn,
relates
New
to people in
York?
Venezuela. So,
Well, the only thing I can think of is that the conditions at the Manhattan federal lockup is
mhm.
kind of piss poor.
And say, look, where was Epstein when he took his
He was there, but even before Epstein, it's like the building is, you know,
It's in bad condition.
yeah,
It's
it's
in bad
bad.
condition. But the
Yeah, it's
thing
in
is,
bad
though,
condition.
In New York City, if you're gonna take somebody like that in a high profile to New York City, I know we're getting off base here, but if you're gonna take somebody a high profile in New York City, you send them to the U.S. Attorney's office for in Manhattan. You don't send them to Brooklyn or any other
I know,
other.
it's like, why in the world are you in Brooklyn? What the heck is
Why would
that?
you send them to Brooklyn? It's because
Yeah,
U.S.
well,
Attorney's in
again, that's
Brooklyn.
that's that's the only thing. That's the only thing I could think of because you could also tell when the Manhattan correctional place because it's actually a high rise,
Mhm.
and you could tell when they got somebody important because there was a time when you walk past there, and U.S. Marshals would be on the corner in front of the building with shotguns.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean
so
it's called the it's SDNY, the Southern District of New York.
yeah,
And that's where you
so
send high profile people. The only way I can think of that he's sitting there, you have to look at the U.S. attorney who's appointed for Brooklyn, for that particular for part of Brooklyn. That person has to be a real asshole. That's the only reason I can think of to do it.
yeah,
Or
well,
that
I don't know. I don't know. I don't because wouldn't that be an assistant district attorney? Because the main district attorney is for the whole southern
No,
district.
this is U.S. attorney. So
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
every U.S. right. So every U.S. attorney has a district, and the Southern District of New York is when you send high profile top people like Madoff, or you're sending people like Epstein, or
Yeah,
anybody else. They go to SDNY. Now
yeah, and
SDNY
that
jurisdiction
y-
ends in and at the line of Manhattan, and so
yeah,
there's a Brooklyn U.S. attorney, which is appointed by the president. And I'm thinking that that person is probably a jack off.
yeah, because the building you're talking about that's Pearl Street. Okay, that's in the old Five Points part of Manhattan, right near where the not too far from the Manhattan Bridge is at. You know,
mhm.
so I mean it's a good question because I was kind of wondering myself about it, and like I said, the only thing I could think of is that maybe they finally got around to renovating the lockup there
Yeah.
because the place was leaking and the elevators weren't working
Mm.
and it was just a hot mess when Epstein was in there before that.
And going back
Actually, you know what? I think maybe the thing I don't know if this is what uh Sonia was referring to. Are you saying that because the vice president or whatever they call him is in Russia, that the U.S. is scared that they're gonna have like a Russian Venezuelan you know,
I think they just want to cause as much chaos as possible to cover up or hide or whatever they're trying to do. So separate
because
the
I think
two and cause as much chaos as you can in the
well,
streets.
what I think is probably more of the issue that when Venezuela started moving its tankers under the Russian flag, that they thought they could run in and grab the head of the government and that would do something. But since fine, you got him, but the if the vice president already on his way to Russia, then they'll just go in and get into a deal with Russia to protect Venezuela, and then we have to get the fuck out and just don't ever get in. You
well,
know, I don't.
my question
They'll
also
take
is
that oil
about
themselves.
my question is about AI and
Mhm.
AI. This moron uses AI a lot. We all know that.
Mhm.
And so the picture of this guy from Venezuela being blindfolded in handcuffs, I just
It's probably more likely than not
can we
that it
call
is, AI. It's
can we
probably
call
not
that
real. Yeah, it's probably not
it's
real. I mean, I'm sure
real?
it's probably not. They may have done the thing, but it probably didn't look like that. It probably looked like something completely and totally different. And they're just trying to make it look like they've done something heroic. They probably just went to his house and said, "Hey, come over here," and they came to his house, and that's something. Or he's
Blindfolded, and
not taking it all, or he's still sitting at home somewhere.
we just don't know the truth anymore. And the thing is, the head of the news of CBS, the guy who's going to
Mhm.
be on the
Mhm.
CBS Evening News,
Mhm.
he said that he's going to be more trustworthy in delivering the news, which an anchor doesn't really deliver the damn news.
Mhm.
Anyway, he said he's going to be more trustworthy than Walter Cronkite.
Oh heck no! And that's number one. Who knows who Walter Cronkite was? These people nowadays, they certainly don't. You know, who knows who that is?
Yeah, and he gave five tenets. CBS News gave five tenets of their new division, and number one, we love America.
Okay, then I'm sorry. How is
Yeah,
that?
and
How is
and
that
he
helpful?
and he
How's that
also
helpful?
said that he's not going to rely on people that whatever topic this person is either educated in or specialized in or is
Mhm.
an expert. He's supposedly going to get, I guess, uh,
But Joe,
insight from
Mhm.
Billy Bob in Mississippi or something like that. I
Yeah.
don't
Okay.
know. But
So yes,
see, the
that's that.
minute that whether people whether people know who Walter Cronkite is or not, I know for me, the minute he that came out his mouth,
Mhm.
it's pretty much a done deal. I'm done.
I agree,
Mhm.
and along with I we love America thing, and
Yeah,
so
Yeah,
that's enough.
and that's why I decided, okay, that's it for me in the news.
Yep.
It's been a
I'm
long
done.
relationship between me and the news. I watched news since I was like 7 years old. Watched
I
news.
mean, so. I mean, where do we get? I mean, that's the one thing we were coming up. Everybody watched the same news. Pretty much, we all got the same news, and then you had your opinions about what that meant. But nowadays, everybody only watches the news that they want to see. You know.
yeah. It was a time when you had Walter Cronkite and Dan
Mhm.
Rather at CBS.
Harry Reasoner and
Yeah, the NBC you had um what's it,
Quickly, frankly,
Huntley and Brinkley. Channel 7 you had Frank Reynolds and Roger
Mhm.
K. Smith. They just
Mhm.
gave you the news.
Yeah.
If you
Max
wanted
Robinson.
if you wanted opinion, whether it be left or right, if you wanted a left wing opinion, you went to Open Mind on Channel 13 or David
Mhm.
Susskind. And if you wanted a right wing opinion, you went to Channel 13 for Firing Line.
Mhm.
Now it's just a blur. Um, we're in the
Well,
age of the oligarchy.
it's hard. It's horrible. I mean, the thing is, people get their news from the internet, which is Facebook and Instagram and whatever X used to be, whatever that was. They're getting or Twitter. They're getting their information, their news from there. And
Hmm.
I just you just have to quit this. I think because I don't think that we're getting the information that is reflective of the truth and is being manipulated.
Right.
It's full on manipulation.
Yeah,
Full
well,
on.
what I see, this is another thing. This wasn't a goal or a resolution. This is something that I started doing last year, and is and that is if I have money to spare, I'm donating to outlets and organizations that are kind of speaking truth to power. Whether it be WBAI, WNYC, WNPR, um, even with jazz, WBGO, WQXR, classical. I'm donating money on the regular to them because
Mhm.
these are the these are the only outlets that I can trust. You know, these are the only outlets that I can trust these days.
Let me ask you
And
this,
yeah,
and and it's not a cynical question, but
you
what makes
sure?
it may sound cynical, but it's not. The question is, what makes you think that you can trust them?
Mhm.
If you listen, in fact, I tell you what, make this a resolution. You should be able to get on online. You should be able to get WBAI. Just listen to WBAI for about a week, okay? And you can see which way the wind blows with them because they've also been free speech radio. In fact, there's one show that's on there that I totally disagree with because it's too much QAnon rabbit hole
Mhm.
craziness. That's the Jimmy Dore show. Okay. But most of the shows on there, I can trust. Okay. I can trust Housing Notebook because Housing Notebook is on the side of the tenants. In fact, when you listen to Housing Notebook, they will tell you they do it every night that they're on. They will tell you how much is the temperature in your house, and if it's below a certain temperature, which is 68 degrees in New York City, they will tell you call call and make a complaint. Call your landlord. They will refer people to lawyers. Okay, they are in the people's corner. Okay, they went out of their way. Now I don't know what's going to happen with him, but they made sure to have a live broadcast of Moridani getting sworn in as mayor.
But what
Cool.
about
Which
this? What
which
about
by which by the way, I like what he did because not only did he get sworn in, he put his hand on the Quran instead of the Bible. And not only did he do that, but he also had a second Bible. And the second Bible that he got sworn in on came from Arturo. What's oh God, what's his first name? Arturo Schomburg.
Claudia? Yeah.
Mhm.
No, Arturo Schomburg.
Oh, Schomburg. Okay.
Yeah, he has his people go to the Schomburg Library, and Schomburg had in his collection a Quran, and he asked could he use it at the swearing in.
But let
Oh,
me ask you this though.
of
That's good.
course.
That's good for New York. But what about people who don't live in New York? There's
Well,
what source do they use to find out that the stuff that people are scared. This
right,
is and they're
and
acting scared. They say things like "We love America." They're not saying it because they actually love a country. They're saying it because they're afraid.
and I say another resolution goal for you is to find out online what stations in your area that uh that have Pacifica shows. Cause see, cause Pacifica is the parent company of WBAI.
Hmm.
Okay, they're based in California, and I'm quite sure that they probably have some type of programming going into Texas because Austin is like a little bastion of progressiveness
Hmm.
in Texas. You know, in fact, I've always wondered how Austin, Texas survived. You know what I'm saying? Because they're,
College town, man. It's a
oh, okay.
college.
They're like in the belly of the beast.
Yeah, they
You
are
know
a
what I'm saying?
college town.
So, yeah, look up Pacifica. Okay, you could probably find the affiliates. And I'm quite sure Pacifica probably has something online, you know, and like I said, with BAI, they stream online. You can listen to the shows and just listen to them for a week. You know, just listen to them a week. To me, these days we have to circle the wagon. Okay, we
Yeah.
have to circle the wagons because this this regime
Hmm.
that's down in Washington is not only are they relentless, they're crazy.
Hmm.
Okay, they're trying to turn back America to a mythical time that just doesn't fit into the 21st century.
It never
Yeah.
existed. But the
Mm.
thing is that this is why I agree with you about Christian nationalism. I believe that the nationalism thing starts with we love America. That is a true sign and
Yeah,
of
that does.
is a
That is.
state. We love fill in the blank is nationalism.
Yeah,
Or
That-
fill the blank nation, whatever that nation
yeah,
might
yeah,
be.
whatever it is, and that's why.
and,
That's
yeah,
yeah, that's why I was up. When the 9/11 happened, and Congress and the president came up with this homeland thing, I was like, that sounds a lot like nationalism.
Yeah,
In
Nazis
Germany,
talk,
yeah,
you know?
that
I,
homeland thing, those
I thought,
words that they use.
Hmm.
yeah, I thought I was the only one. You know,
Yeah.
when you say the
And
homeland,
homeland. Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
Okay.
you
Uh,
sound you sound kind of like Sergeant
but every
Schultz.
you know
You
what
know,
mhm.
that Patriot Act, what did it pass through Congress to the Senate?
Mhm.
99 to 1 or something like
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
Overwhelmingly passed.
Yep.
yeah,
So
Because
and
we're
and
reactionary,
everybody
you
else,
know?
yeah, they voted for it.
yeah, and see that's like I said, it's
Uneducated and,
yeah,
reactionary.
yeah, and it's always been there. And the opening for it, I said before, and I said again ad nauseum, the opening for it was COVID because that's when we found that the United States has a soft underbelly. Okay, that the institutions that our mothers and fathers brought us up to, believe in and whatnot, those institutions were very fragile.
Mhm.
Okay, and see, everybody was expecting the left to tear down those institutions, but it was the right. It was the right that's tearing all this stuff down. Sometimes they even contradict themselves because remember how Republicans were cut and spend and keep the budget low
Mhm. That's all that
under this.
to pull.
Yeah, look at this guy here. He's been spending like crazy.
Yeah, but the
Mhm.
thing is that this is why my resolutions are not to engage in the news or come in contact with it because the way it's reported, is the way that the news organization, the so-called fourth estate, the way it
Mhm.
engages in telling us what's going on is a bit is abysmal. Could you
Yeah.
imagine Walter Cronkite giving you the news about the January 6th stuff that happened?
Well, again, that is another time and place. You know,
Mhm.
when he felt that he had to speak truth to power, okay, he did. Okay, that's what the fourth estate's job was.
Exactly. And we don't have that anymore.
We don't have that anymore.
but you know
Okay.
and it's a consolidation of news organizations.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
And
not
having our
that's,
news, how on the one hand are you going to say we love America when our news organizations are not run or owned by Americans?
yes, that
How, what,
too,
please explain that to me.
that
If that were the
too,
case, you wouldn't allow foreigners to own American news
exactly,
outlets.
exactly. And so that's why I'm gone from news. And, I,
Hmm.
and you know, God bless you, James. I don't trust anyone giving me the news. Actually, the only place I go to get the news are comedy shows
Hmm.
like
But it
Sadly.
Jimmy Kimmel or
right.
Daily Show or what's his name? What Seth Meyers.
Hmm.
Well, see, here's the thing with me. Okay, ever since I can remember, because actually, I first started reading newspapers. I first started reading the New York Times when I was 14 years old
Hmm.
in junior high school. But I've also had this thing where you have to analyze the news. You have to listen to both sides. Okay, only these days I can't do the New York Post and
Hmm.
Fox. It's just they're too much for me. They're like a Klingon pain stick. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Yep. Uh-huh.
oh, I can't, I can't, I can't do that. So what I do is, like I said, I go through all the media. Although I plan to, my goal is to
Hmm.
cut it down. I go through the media and I analyze the news that's coming. And some things I find is that sometimes you will have a news story that happened on Tuesday, and you'll find another outlet report that same friggin' news story 3 days later. Now, to me, there's something wrong with that.
That is.
Okay. There's something wrong with that. But you have to do it. And mind you, these days, every news outlet has a slant. Okay. You can listen to Al Jazeera, but Al Jazeera has their slant. You can listen to the BBC, they have a slant. Okay. Every news organization out here has a slant. You just have
What
to.
about the Guardian? Sometimes I read those. I probably won't read it this year. So my disconnection with the news. But the Guardian seemed to have like this is what it is, y'all.
Yeah. Well, if that's what you have to do, you have to, which I've done for decades. I was weeded through the minutia and try to find some type of news where I can actually combine what I see as facts. I just can't do that with Fox. Believe it or not, editorial wise, you will have the Wall Street Journal wake up in their editorial section, and
Yeah.
especially if this moron messes with the economy, they
But
will wake up.
the problem is that the Guardian, for example, I'm not an avid. I read the Guardian, and you know it is what it is. But
Right.
a lot of these, Wall Street Journal included, are behind paywalls, and people don't
Oh
even know.
well, I got news for you. Even the hard copy is behind a paywall because the freaking Wall Street Journal is like, I think, $6.
It's a lot. Yeah, nobody gonna pay $6 for a newspaper in New York with the newspaper used to cost a nickel,
Yeah.
a nickel, and now it's six. Could you imagine? Could you imagine plopping down a five and a one to pick up a newspaper at a newsstand?
Listen, I kid you not, I will buy the Wall Street Journal maybe once every couple of months, and that's on Thursday because I could actually open it up and see how things are going with my Vanguard 401k, you know. But nah, for lack of a better word, fuck them. I don't see that. But see, that's another thing. A lot of people don't know. I think I told you guys before that the Wall Street Journal is the most read paper in the United States. But that's because every financial organization in cities across the United States, they these companies like Templar and Vanguard, they will get subscriptions to the Wall Street Journal for their entire organization, where their workers come in the office and just grab a copy. That, in fact, that was the case down in Wall Street.
Well, the
Merrill
question
Lynch.
is, this is the question. You
Hmm.
know, should we be worried about politics or more worried about money? And what if we don't have any money? You know, it's like you don't have any money and you have no voice in politics, and money is now speech. You're totally effed.
Yeah, and because everything, especially with entertainment, everything is behind a paywall. Um, but I think maybe I hate to sound old fashioned. Um, I hate to sound old fashioned. Let me cue the March to Justice music.
Okay.
But I think people should still try to think about and act on having a good government. Okay. I hate to sound like an old person that believes in the ghost of Fiorello LaGuardia, but I do still believe in good municipal government.
So just focus on your local stuff.
And yeah, focus on the local stuff, and that way you can get a groundswell going into from the local to the state to the federal. Because we as people, we the people, have to fight back. Have to fight back because this man. When was the last time you heard of a president buying shit from Home Depot and painting it gold and putting it in the Oval Office?
Yeah, yeah, but you know what? That's something that the media says that's something that people can relate to. That's something people can relate to.
Okay, when you say relate to, is it in oh that's good or oh that's what the fuck?
Oh, that's good because I don't have the money to buy real gold, so I buy a piece of plywood and paint it gold, and people would think it's gold.
Well, well then if that's the case, you're probably talking about the 30% that supported him from day one.
Exactly. Those people say, "Oh boy, I can have gold things 'cause
Well, I can
from
have
Home.
something that
I can
looks
go to
gold.
Home Depot and buy some gold paint
Yeah, I'll
and
just paint
paint
it
my
gold.
bathroom. I could do that too. I'll be
Yeah,
just like the president."
Yeah.
right. I just paint it gold.
Wowzers.
It looks gold, therefore it's gold. I can trick
Mhm.
myself into believing it's gold, or people who visit my home or whatever, and then
Mhm.
gold.
But I actually think that 30% is starting to wake up because especially that hatchet job he did on MTG, okay, where he kicked her to the curb.
And you know what though? This woman that he kicked to the curb, she still says she supports him, and she says all this other stuff, but she hasn't stopped saying that crazy shit. She's still
Or
saying,
your racist stuff.
yeah, she's still
She's still
saying that
double
stuff.
down on that.
Now
Yeah,
she said that she add a little bit of, liquor to her coffee, but it's still coffee.
Mhm.
yeah.
And
But
if
I
you have these people like her who, it's sure they have taken issue regarding a thing that happens to Anglo women.
yeah,
So
and well,
that's where she draws the line on the sexual abuse of Anglo women and girls.
right, and
And
with
and
her,
unfortunately for her, that's something that these guys want to be able to do all the time. So she's on the outs because
Oh,
she's
okay.
going to
and
stop them doing
really
anything that
at
yeah.
this point in time, she has nowhere to go.
Hmm.
Basically, she has nowhere to go. She's hoping that someday he'll take her back,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but she has nowhere to go. And as time goes on, as racist and as liquor in her coffee as that she is, you gotta wake up. You
No,
Yeah.
you
no.
you gotta wake
I
up.
mean, the
What?
thing is, they will only say like the one thing. This one issue maybe because she's for whatever reason this is hit strikes close to home for her, but anything else that doesn't relate to her, she
Yeah,
does not have
but
the ability to empathize with anyone
right. It's
else.
like it's like Bridget Bardot just died, right?
Mhm.
And she was an advocate for animal rights, just like
Mm.
really staunchly advocate for it.
Yeah,
She was also a racist,
yeah,
and so you got this thing that's your little your pet project, but
Mhm.
it's like Hitler having a dog. It's like
Yeah.
Hitler
well,
killed
let,
his
let,
dog and treated his dog right, but in the
Yeah.
let,
meantime, he put people in gas chambers.
Mhm.
let me ask you this. Um, of course, you guys know my pet peeve is Jimmy Stewart.
Mhm.
Okay, this new movie that's coming out or came out, do you think they addressed his racial issues?
No,
I don't know. Is there a movie? I missed that
I
one.
didn't see. I don't know anything about a movie, but I would guess no.
Yeah, it's coming out. I think in the next couple of weeks.
A
I don't know whether
biopic?
it's yeah, it's a biopic. Okay. From the teaser, the trailer that I saw, I don't see them addressing any of the issues that he had.
No. I mean, and I saw this. Once again, this is an AI thing, so I take it with a grain of salt, kind of.
Mhm.
But it had all these celebrities that are racist, and of course, Jimmy Stewart was on the list.
Mhm.
It had Joan Crawford on the list,
Mhm.
and some other people that were on the list that I knew would make the list, like a John Wayne was on the
Yeah.
list
Mhm.
because of stuff he said in Playboy magazine. And who else was on that list? Penelope.
Dean Martin.
Dean Martin was a surprise to be on the list.
Well, see, that's I agree with you because I think I saw the same video, and I think Paul Newman was on the list.
Oh no, he wasn't.
No, he went on the list I
Okay,
saw.
well, I saw one where Paul Newman was on the list, and the way the AI was describing him, I'm like, wait a minute. I read his biography,
Mhm.
okay, and nowhere in his biography, and they also mentioned Lee Marvin, and I'm like, wait a minute, I read these guys' biographies.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
don't think those guys are. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think they're on the list.
they even in the video I saw they even mentioned Steve McQueen. I'm like, wait a minute,
Yeah, I don't think those people. I
Well,
think
the
that.
one that I looked at, what they were saying though, was that they were talking about Johnny Carson's book, and these are the people that Johnny Carson called out.
right? Yeah, I believe I saw that one
Yes,
too.
Mhm.
yes. Dean Martin and I think Lucille Ball, which I
But
don't.
that's what they were saying that these people, while it was so unlikely, they said that they, in public, they showed one face, but in private, it was a different face. I thought it was
Well,
interesting. They're
Desi
saying that
Luke.
about Joan Crawford. This is how Dorothy Dandridge said they
Yeah,
were in the same
I,
studio,
I
and
believe
she
that.
would not, say boo to her.
I believe Joan Crawford. It's hard for me
Mhm.
to you know uh, I take with a grain of salt Lucille Ball because of what Desi Lou Productions did.
Yeah, yeah,
A lot of diversity and a lot of
Mhm.
black people in that show, like Mission
and see,
Impossible and Star Trek and all that.
exactly, exactly, and see, this goes back to I think I told you guys about the video about Cab Calloway
Mhm.
where he's supposed to be a devil worshiper, and I'm like,
Where you get that from?
where the fuck did y'all get
Yeah, but
that from?
the same list had Jimmy Stewart on there, which is everybody's.
Mhm.
Of course, we know that he is. It had John Wayne on there, which I read. I read that 19
Yeah, many times before.
Playboy
Yeah,
Mhm.
Playboy magazine article, and it had some other people on there who I knew were racist, but the surprise was to me was Joan Crawford. I didn't know that.
Mhm.
Lucille Ball and Dean Martin. Penelope. That was surprising.
Yeah, that was a big surprise.
And I would have to question. I would have to question Dean Martin, really. I
Mhm.
mean, because Sammy Davis, that was his running partner.
But
Okay,
they
even after their
they
Rat Pack days, they were in doing the what is it, the Cannonball Run movies. I,
Yeah, but I mean, but things just because you have one friend that's black doesn't mean you're not racist.
yeah, but that's another person that I read his biography, and I just don't see it. Just like you found out that you thought Demon was a stone cold alcoholic,
Yeah, he wasn't
And he
he
really.
wasn't.
wasn't.
He pretended
Yeah,
But
to
you know,
drink.
you know what the evidence they have in that list of that video that we saw was that he had a Dean Martin show where he wouldn't have black people on his show and
Mhm.
black singers on his show and all this kind of stuff. And I remember as a kid watching the Dean Martin show because I was for some reason I like variety shows. I have no idea why I would like them, but I
because there was a lot of them on.
yeah, I didn't like all of them. I like some, and so I don't remember having a whole lot of
I
black
think
people.
what he said was that not that he did not have black people to sing on the show. You could sing on the show, but even his friend Sammy Davis did not get to be interviewed.
You don't get to talk on his show.
No.
I don't know. I I just don't that I don't know. I mean, now if you're talking about Mickey Rooney,
Oh, he was on the list too.
okay, yeah, he was on
So
the
Mickey
list. In
Rooney on the
fact,
list?
Hmm?
You think he's racist? You thought he was racist?
Mickey Rooney?
Yeah.
I mean, they said he was like, what said he was racist, but he also a problem. Just a problem person.
well, you know,
In the
I
end.
I think I think with him definitely because here's how I feel that Mickey Rooney was racist. One time I was watching on YouTube the Hollywood Palace. Remember that? The Hollywood Palace used to come on ABC Channel 7, and him and Sammy Davis Jr. were doing a song together, right?
Mhm.
And they went stepping, dancing off stage, and you could just see, just as they stepped in behind the curtain off
Mhm.
stage, all of a sudden Mickey Rooney hauls off and kicks him in the ass.
And
Ah.
really? And
Yeah,
what did Sammy do?
I don't know what it was, but from what first of all, Mickey Rooney was a drunk. He was a racist. He had a temper.
Mhm.
Okay, he used to walk around with bodyguards, going to these bars, and he would pick fights. And he'd pick a fight with somebody. When the person would rise up to smack him, whatever, the bodyguard would jump in.
Mhm.
But this is something that I actually saw that I wondered about. Like I said, they had on the tuxedos, and they had
Mhm.
the canes and the I think they had like the straw hats, and they was doing a
Mhm.
routine. And when they went stepping off, dancing off stage, you could see just as they was getting behind the curtain, off stage, he hauled off and kicked them in the butt.
Mm.
And I'm like,
What the
"D-
heck?
yeah,
That's
did I
a joke
just
or
see
something?
that? Just so
Was it
yeah,
jokey?
I this is the whole thing. See, with
Well,
him
why would you do it going off stage?
off
Off
stage,
stage,
yeah,
right?
I mean,
yeah,
if
If it
you're
was
a
part of the
buddy,
joke.
you're a
yeah.
buddy with somebody, if you're messing with somebody.
Now with Dean Martin, the only thing I could remember him doing out of school was they would, they'd be the Rat Pack, and they would be doing their thing, singing. Frank Sinatra would be there, and I remember watching they were doing a benefit for some hospital in Missouri live on TV, and in fact they even had Johnny Carson fill in for Joey Bishop because I think Frank Sinatra had kicked Joey Bishop out of the Rat Pack.
Mhm.
So they were doing their thing singing, and between songs, all of a sudden, and this was something I saw at other times, all of a sudden D. Martin grabbed Sammy Davis Jr. up in his arms, and he said, "I would like to thank the NAACP for this award."
Yeah, I remember that. They said a
You
Mhm.
lot of
know,
nasty shit. They said a lot of nasty shit to Sammy, and he took
Mhm.
yeah.
he
Well, you listen, Sammy's last year's on Earth, the mafia had took over his house.
Mhm.
Okay, they took over his house. His wife saw the writing on the wall, and she moved out, and a lot of their expensive paintings she shipped overseas.
Mhm.
And the mafia was hanging out in his house, and he really couldn't do anything about it. There was one time years before that in the '50s, they was backstage, and some mafioso talked Sammy Davis Jr. into taking his glass eye out
Mhm.
of the socket, and then the guy was playing around with it on the table and wouldn't give it back to Sammy Davis Jr.
Mm-mm.
he
You
took a
know,
lot. He took a lot of
Nasty
stuff.
fuckers, man.
I mean,
yeah,
his wife died. I think one of his first wife. What's her name?
Mhm.
Brit,
Mhm.
wife,
Eklund?
huh?
Not Brit Eklund, is she?
no,
Oh,
no,
I think it was May, Brit May or something.
Mm.
yeah,
But she died, and she had allegedly had a promising career when she hooked up with Sammy Davis Jr. And then after she hooked up with him, that was the end of her career. But she said she loved Sammy Davis Jr. They loved each other or whatever. I don't know.
Mhm.
You know, I don't know why Sammy Davis Jr. Did what he did as far as I mean, you love who you love, whatever, right?
Mhm.
But the thing is the hits that he took
Mhm.
because he was the only black person in a basically a white world. It's like my God, the
yeah,
humiliation.
yeah. Even Frank Sinatra got on his case about it.
Humiliation is. I
You
mean,
know,
What?
basically, it's like he supported JFK, and then JFK said, "Don't come to my inauguration, or don't come to my benefit or something
Gotta be
because
kidding.
yeah, because you're involved with this white woman." I don't know whether JFK said it personally or somebody in the JFK camp said it, but it's like they told Frank Sinatra, "You need to disinvite this nigga because you know
Mhm.
he's
yeah,
white."
yeah, and it got worse because after Frank Sinatra got on him about the marriage.
Mhm.
Years later, Frank Sinatra married Mia Farrow,
Mhm.
and Sammy Davis commented that well he doesn't think that they should have gotten married, and Frank Sinatra called him a nigger bastard,
Mhm.
and that's when their relationship went south. Really,
I mean, if you say that like that so easily, that's what you always thought, man.
That's
and
exactly. It had
and,
to
and,
be.
and see, this is why I don't know. I don't know what the relationship was, but this is why I don't know about Sammy and Dean because
Mhm.
because Frank basically chucked everybody out the Rat Pack. Okay, only Shirley MacLaine had enough sense to say, "Nah, I'm out of here. I ain't dealing with y'all." But that's why you saw Frank, D. Martin, and Sammy Davis more and more together. Because Frank was like later for y'all. Definitely
Mhm.
Joey Bishop. He kicked him out of the Rat Pack. And basically the Rat Pack dissolved, except for maybe Peter Lawford. And
Who
see
he
what a
beat
lot
up?
of a lot,
He whooped his ass. He almost whooped Peter Lawford ass like he was black.
yeah,
The
What?
things he said that did to Peter Lawford. Oh my God.
Yeah, I
and,
mean, I think I remember that them saying that he would just say such nasty things.
Yeah,
yeah,
just nasty.
and what a lot of people don't know is the original leader of the Rat Pack
Mhm.
was Humphrey Bogart.
Mm.
I didn't know that.
Okay, yeah, the original leader of the Rat Pack was
But let
Humphrey
me ask you this.
Bogart.
Let me
Yeah,
ask you this. Let me ask you this. Since we're talking about resolutions and stuff, when you and Cranston told at least me, I don't know about Penelope, she can speak for herself about it, but we told me about Jimmy Stewart. It's like really impacted my viewing of
Yeah.
there's life and stuff. And so when you hear, I mean, we saw the movie The Front, and it's a really
Mhm.
good movie, and Woody Allen is in it, but it's not his
Hmm.
movie. It's really
Hmm.
Zero Mostel's movie.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And so we saw that movie, and Woody Allen was in it, and he said a few funny things. But you know, it's like you realize that you're watching the movie with this person in it. I mean, when you tell them say all these things about the Dean Martin and
Mhm.
Joan Crawford and all these other people, do we resolve ourselves not to watch these movies, or does not watching these movies become automatic? Is it like you don't watch them anymore because you can't? Like I can't watch Seinfeld anymore.
I guess I tell you the one thing about The Front, that the reason why it was not as it was not as difficult for me to watch as other films is because The Front, he was a despicable individual. It wasn't that he
Yeah,
was trying to be cute or nebbish or something.
right,
He was a despicable individual. He was dumb. Uh,
right,
he he had a job, you know, because he said he was barely literate, you know, trying to say that he was a screenplay writer. So,
right.
you know, I knew. I mean, this is yeah, I can believe this is who he really is. So it was more watchable than anything when he tries to pretend to be
Yeah,
otherwise than what he
right,
really is. So I
right.
I,
And
I
of
have
course, like you said, like I said, Zero Mostel,
yeah.
magnificent. And I think
Mhm.
his last performance, but magnificent performance.
Well, it with him, you figure it would be a good performance because he was blacklisted too.
Well, it was
Mhm.
breakfast. Yep.
At the end of
Yeah,
the film, they show everybody who was involved in the film that was blacklisted.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. He was
And
blacklisted
like
too.
Penelope said, the Woody Allen character is despicable, and he's doing it for money. He's just nakedly doing it for money,
Mhm.
and he is a moron, an idiot who barely graduated from grade elementary school.
Yep.
So yeah, you know, is he's not trying to be the lovable nerd or nebbish.
Mensch, you know, no, he's just yeah, he's just basically a front. That's all he is. He's just a front.
Oh,
Right.
oh, well, I don't know. It's I take things on like a case by case
Mhm.
basis.
Absolutely. I understand that.
You know, like, well, you all you guys know I want shit to do with fucking Walter Brennan. I can't.
Well, you know
Mhm.
You
what though?
know.
It's not that many. There's not that many Walter Brennan movies out there anyway. So it's
Well,
easy.
on
It's
but
easy to
see,
resolve myself not to watch this movie.
yeah, but see, here's the thing: when I turn on my TV, okay, because I still have broadcast TV,
Mhm.
and I turn to binge the fucking real, excuse my friends, the real McCoys are on.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm like, really?
Yeah, I don't get that. But you know, Walter Brennan is not in any of my favorite series from
No,
back in the
or
day. He's
yeah,
not
me
in
either.
Limits. He's not in the Twilight Zone. He's not in Alfred Hitchcock. You know,
Mm-mm.
he's not any of those movies or shows. So it's
Okay,
easy,
well,
easy to avoid that dude.
yeah, well, with me, it was really hard with Jimmy Stewart
I mean, I used
because
to love the film "It's a Wonderful Life." I can't even watch it anymore, and it
Yeah,
makes me
especially
so nervous when I
you
think of
said
that
that black
black
woman.
woman in the
Yeah.
film, and she's got to like dance with him and stuff, and ha 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 he he, and I just it makes me think, my God, what did she have to go through, you know, to be there on the set with this
What do you think he said
raging
to? Yeah, what did he say
racist,
to her?
and
Yeah.
the type of things that even said to her. It's like it just makes me so sad.
but that's what I'm wondering about with this movie that's coming out. Are they going to address it or
I
not?
think
Because
no. I think no, and the reason I think no is because number one, a lot of people don't know it. Number two, you remember Stewart was a staunch Republican,
Mm-hmm.
a staunch Reaganite.
Mm-hmm.
well,
So
see,
they're not
this
going to
is
say anything to tarnish that reputation.
see that's another thing. Not so much that I like that he was Republican, but I like the fact that I remember one movie with him and Henry Fonda. It
Mm-hmm.
was a western, and they were in town, and I forgot. I don't know whether they was going to a saloon or not, but they got in an argument, because Henry Fonda was a Democrat
Mhm.
and he was Republican. I found that funny and whatnot. And Vertigo, real
Rear
room,
Window. Rear
rear
Window.
window.
Hmm.
Um,
I
I
can't watch
loved
it
him.
again.
Yeah, I loved him in those movies, but now I just can't because I
Yeah.
heard he was
Agreed.
really if see here's the thing. I from what I heard and read, not only did he have an issue with people of color, if he saw a person of color on the set, he would just fly into some type of rage.
But that's what this AI thing said. Like he
You
he would
know?
he would just like rip out pages of script or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was,
And
I
mind
mean,
you,
there are
and
people that
it's
are drunk. There are people that are drunk, and then like Penelope likes to say, it's like people who are mean drunks. He
Mm.
was a mean drunk.
he was a mean drunk. Yeah. He was a mean drunk. And mind you, this stuff that about him, not only did I see it, on YouTube and stuff like that, I've read it.
Mhm.
I've read actual physical media saying that he was like that, and I'm like, wow, this
Yeah.
is a
Who knew, right?
yeah. I mean, he growing up as a kid, we used to goof around. He was the easiest person to do an imitation of.
Yeah, yeah, but you know what? I can easily resolve not to watch any of his junk.
Mhm.
I can
Nah,
easily.
Absolutely.
nah.
I made a resolution, and I made a resolution not to watch Seinfeld, and
Mm.
I messed up in my resolution because I watched the episode of Seinfeld, and then when I saw it, I said, "Oh my God, I should never broken that resolution." Because I had
Mhm.
not watched an episode of Seinfeld since, and I cannot watch it because of Michael Richard and what he did.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
some things are easier to if if we talk about resolutions, some resolutions are easier to keep than
Mhm.
others because they're so offensive. Like saying I'm not going to engage in news is easier for me because of the lies and stuff that I
Mhm.
feel like I'm told and misled, right? So that's an easier resolution to keep. Not watching Jimmy Stewart movies, easy. John Wayne
Mhm.
movies, easy.
Easy.
Um, who else? Dean Martin shit. I
I
won't
don't
miss.
watch it anyway, so I mean, it's
Yeah,
not like
I won't
it's.
miss it. I won't miss it.
And I wasn't watching anyhow, so yeah, not
Well,
gonna miss it.
I mean,
Except I used to watch Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis stuff
Yeah,
back when we were, growing up. So it's hard to say, wow, this person would be that way.
yeah, and I mean, in recent times, these days, I can't watch anything with Sylvester Stallone. Okay, I just can't because you're gonna go to the White House and talk about Trump is the second coming of George Washington.
Well, he is. George Washington was a complete and total mess.
yeah. That's the thing. The thing
Hmm.
is, somebody tells the truth and they may not know that they're telling the truth.
Hmm. He is
But
I I
absolutely
if
the
you go
second.
back
I
and
George, I
well
said
look
put
George
it,
Washington was a
at the
complete
shit
and
that
total
Washington did,
shill. He was a shill. He's a loser
excuse
and
my
a
language, but
shill.
that motherfucker, oh my
Hmm.
God, he would he would fit right into the Trump
He sure would.
mold.
well.
Yeah,
See, my thing is with this. Trump is not. You can't compare Trump to any president, good or bad. Okay, because he's totally a creature of his own.
I I
Okay,
I
he
kind of
could.
I kind of disagree with you
Yeah, man. Because I
a
mean,
little bit,
that
and
stuff.
the reason I disagree with you a little bit is
Uh
because of
huh.
what Penelope turned me on to, which is like the real history. It's not the stuff that we got taught in school and we went through all these years of being tested on, but the kind of stuff that George Washington did, especially to black people, and the
Hmm.
Oh yeah, well, and not
accomplishment.
just him. You
Oh
also
my God!
had.
It's more.
But
If he just
him,
owned slaves, but James, if he just owned slaves, that would be okay. But the what he did, what
No,
he
well,
did,
it's just it's not just him. You also have Andrew Jackson,
yes,
okay, who basically committed genocide. Okay, you
yes,
had somebody like Rutherford B. Hayes, who was supposed to be on our side, but he was so desperate to become president that he looked the other way,
Mhm.
and that was the end of Reconstruction.
right.
Mhm.
You had
So
somebody to me who's even worse than George Washington is Woodrow Wilson.
Oh, well, of
now,
course.
now, I would say that Wilson is not worse than Washington. But I would say this, that in the long line of horrible people, this horrible people who are destined for Hades Town, I think Trump would fit right in there with that group of people.
Mhm.
Oh
I
well,
don't
no
think,
doubt. But see, with him, there's a special corner in Hades for him.
I
Cause
think
see,
he
he
was
even
something set.
see
He is just
he's been doing so much that he even upset these white Christian nationalists because somebody asked him a question about hell, and he said, "Yeah, I probably am gonna go to hell." He admitted that. Okay, he admitted that himself, and them white
yeah, you
ministers were
following
like,
me, you should pretty much presume you're going there too.
you know. So, but see, my thing with Woodrow Wilson is that he just opened up a new can. It's bad enough we were getting lynched at the turn of the century, but he just made things worse. Okay,
yeah,
because
Mhm.
he
but Screening Birth of a Nation and the lynching
yeah
Yeah.
and during the 20s and everything else, I see that as a continuum to me.
Yeah.
I don't see it as somebody who's stand out head above the class. You know, I think it's like it's a continuum of just horrible actors and people who we pretend to be, stalwarts of our democracy. I don't, I feel. Let me be honest. I feel as if I've been lied to. You know how that
Yeah.
thing about Malcolm X he says, "Run amok
Hoodwinked
and
and led
slay."
astray. That's right.
bamboozled.
Mhm.
Bamboo, yeah, exactly. I feel like I dedicated my life to a level of education and stuff, and getting all the and going to school and getting tested and doing bad on some tests and doing well on other tests. All of it was a sham mockery.
Mhm.
Well, see, this is what I told you guys before. Last year, our parents tried their damn best to protect us from this,
Mhm. I
from
think
all of this.
so.
Okay, they tried to protect us from this. God knows what my father was going through, my mother.
Mhm.
Also, the fact that we thought especially from the late '60s going on into the '70s, that we were making progress.
Right. We sure
Okay,
did.
because even on Verdine White of Earth, Wind and Fire said the reason why everybody was wearing huge afros because we were moving upwards, and the
Mhm.
afro was up and big and
Mhm.
everything.
Yep.
But we we were kind of, I hate to say this, we were kind of living in a fantasy world.
Yeah, we were naive, you
Yeah,
know, because we
yeah,
thought everybody believed what we believed, that everyone moving up forward together was a good thing. And we didn't
yeah,
understand that they did not believe that was a good thing, because they believed the zero sum rule, that, it's only if we have some, then that means they get zero. They did not believe that we had the right to the same uh,
yeah,
things that they believed that they had a right to.
And
yeah.
you know what I think,
And our parents knew this. Our parents knew this, but they figured that in a way the struggle continues, and maybe if we just keep on moving,
Mhm.
that things would get better. Okay,
And we
but
thought,
that this goes back to what I but this goes back to what I was saying, that America for all this time had a soft underbelly.
Mhm.
but
You
what it
know.
is though is that this country, we thought, and I think our parents thought that the promise that was made in this country was that there was a trajectory toward, us being really, you know, participants in this society,
Mhm.
living the so-called American dream. It was just a natural course, you know, and it actually had nothing to do with the trajectory of this country and what the Constitution held for us, is
Mhm.
basically because of what we had done. And so we dismissed a lot of the things, the struggles we had done, and we thought because we had done those struggles and did these things like the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act and everything else. Boy, that sure was hard. We're done now.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
over. It's
Yeah,
over. You know.
you got
Yes.
Greg
It's
Morris on Mission. We grew up watching Greg Morris on Mission Impossible, and
hmm
Mhm.
and Michelle Nichols on Star Trek, and now you put people on shows, black people on shows. They call it a DEI hire and all this, all kind of nastiness and kind of filthy language they use about us and stuff. This is the
yeah.
natural. This is the natural course of events, man. This is
Well,
what.
to paraphrase the comedian in Watchmen, when him and Night Owl are dealing with the rioters, and all of a sudden
Mhm.
Night Owl says, "Well, what happened to the American dream?" And the comedian said, "This is the American dream."
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. And that to me is a wake up call. You know, this is
Mhm.
this is exactly what's supposed to be happening, and exactly what the people like the Ben Franklins and the George Washingtons and the Thomas Jeffersons wanted to happen. What this guy is doing right now.
Yeah,
This is
it is a
exactly.
series. It is a United States that was built for white Anglo-Saxon Protestant men. That is its purpose, is to exist for their benefit, not for,
I
this
mean, men, not
egalitarian
women.
society. If you were a person, you were not a property owner. This was
Yeah,
not
not
supposed to be for you either.
yeah, not women, men, not women, not black
Mhm.
people, not indigenous people, not Native American people.
Mm-mm. No.
For
It's
them.
it's not a society that was created for you, for us. It was only created for them.
Yeah. I
And this
recently,
thing that they're doing now is what the founding fathers would have wanted. This is not, some crazy distraction. This is exactly what they wanted.
So my resolution, like Penelope turned me on to Taz Thurman. I got to get
Sure,
that,
yeah.
and you got to share that name with everyone.
Yeah.
But my resolution is to
He
learn
writes
more.
what's resist his upcoming book is Resistance History. And what
My
brilliance.
resolution is to know that my resolution is to know the truth, and I appreciate.
Oh, that's a good too. To know and tell the truth. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Know it and tell
I
it.
appreciate the video that James sent about
Mhm.
the first black police officer in New York,
Mhm.
and the first black police officer in Brooklyn before Brooklyn was incorporated into the five boroughs.
Mhm.
Um, those are true things. We need to stop messing around with things that just make us feel good,
Mhm.
that are not the truth, and we need to. My New Year's resolution is to know the truth, and I don't know how to say it more plain. I'm not going to fuck around with a whole lot of stuff that just make people feel good, you know, like in
Mhm.
Black History Month and all that, stuff like that. We need to know. We don't have time for that nonsense. We need to know the truth.
Mhm.
well,
It's
with
like,
with with me, okay, with me, I will still celebrate Black History Month, but Black History Month to me is every month of the year.
that's right.
Hey,
Okay,
I
it's
don't have
every
a problem
month of
with
the
Black
year.
History Month, but we need to recapture it, and we got to
Mhm.
stop. We got to stop with the George Washington Carvers and the Frederick Douglass. stuff.
well, well,
or to
that's
tell their true and the true stories of those persons. That's what it should be.
well,
Not just the things that make people comfortable, but the things that also may make them uncomfortable.
well. This. I understand what you're saying because nothing for nothing. I remember years ago when Otto, you remember WLIB, right?
Of course.
Okay, Percy Sutton
Yeah.
was the owner of WLIB, and for Black History Month, he came on and they were talking about George Washington Carver, and he said, "Well, I hate to tell you guys this, but George Washington Carver had issues." And people were like, "What?" Well, he said, "When I was a student at Tuskegee Institute, I was told not to really go near George Washington Carver." And they said, "Why?" Because he had a thing for little boys.
Mm.
Okay. And so, yeah, you have to
Tell
bring
me the
out
truth.
the,
Yeah,
huh?
just let me know. And I said, tell me the truth. Tell me everything and let me
Hmm.
decide.
And let
You
me
know, tell
decide.
me everything.
Yeah.
Tell me everything and let me decide.
So, you know, in my writing, okay, I try to, I tell you guys, I try to put minor Black historical figures in my
Hmm.
stories when I can because they're not known. Those are the people. See, minor Black historical figures. Some of them I call the people that caught the bullet for us.
Hmm.
Okay, somebody like Larry Doby. Okay, that integrated the American League. He caught a lot of hell. He caught a lot of hell.
They don't know his name. They know Jackie Robinson, but they don't know Dolby.
Yeah, they don't. Nobody knows about Larry Doby. You see, Battle. A lot of people don't know about Samuel Battle, and definitely they don't know about the black police officer in Brooklyn.
No.
Hmm.
Okay, people don't know about it. I'm getting ready to post a video about the most evilest man on Wall Street. He was a black man,
Hmm.
and he made his fortune swindling people.
Yikes! I don't want to be
What?
swindled.
You know,
All
the
right,
thing is,
guys, we're getting down like to our last 5 minutes or so. So, with
my
regard to
resolution for that
our
too.
I mean, our resolutions, anybody actually having any? I know y'all. Nobody wants to go on record with their resolutions. Um,
I
but
just
yeah,
did.
I mean, what you just said, yeah, to resolving to tell the truth,
And
learn
I
the
would I
truth,
would say
and
this.
yeah.
And I would say this, Penelope, really quickly. You know, the
Mhm.
thing is, we know about these people, and we have to understand why it's important that we know about these people as well.
Mhm.
Not just to know that who's first and all that. That's good also, but also why it's important that we know.
Mhm. Yeah.
I agree with you, Otto.
I mean, Nikki said some stuff regarding in hockey that I didn't even know.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And that you grow up knowing, learning these things, and there's so many different avenues and different platforms that you learn stuff about. We can never stop learning. And that's another thing. I dedicate myself to learning new stuff and keeping my mind open to stuff. I'm just not. My education is far from complete.
Mhm. Yeah. And I gotta say in our private chat right now, I'm going putting that link to Tad Sturmer's discussion he had regarding uh, George Washington. And I think it's very, very interesting for those who would like to read it.
And I think Nikki also said that thing about that black boxer.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff that comes up that we don't know about. Why is it important for us to know? This is important stuff for you to know. For a reason. And it kept hitting.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it kept hitting? For a reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they kept reason because sometimes with certain jobs, it's best to not let people know that at one point they were very prominent in that job.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean, people use traffic lights every day. How many people know they're invented by a black guy?
Yeah. Or care to know that.
Or care to know it? Right.
Yeah. Nobody with hockey, nobody knows about Willie O'Ree.
No.
Mm, yeah.
It's
And I
important to know
think.
that because you can do these things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we should know these things. All right, y'all. So here we are. Do not count down. Okay, tomorrow. Okay, my one thing, resolve to learn the truth and also speak on it, and also to be more organized about the time that I say that I am going to uh take jealously guard. So that jealously guard my time, but be more organized about that. So, all right, y'all. So again, it's a happy new year. I know we got some crazy stuff going on, but understand these people, they start moving around crazily like this when they're scared. And so that's what's going on now. You have these people in this administration, they're scared to death. So they're doing crazy things in order to take our attention away from the truth. And so we need to be always, focus on the truth. That's what they don't want us to do. Focus on the truth,
Mm-hmm.
and then we can make decisions. But our problem is that they try to keep the truth from us so that we're not making the right decisions. So again, somebody tells you the truth and you make the wrong decision, that's you. But they tell you the truth and you use that in order to empower yourself, and that's all we can do. So truth, absolutely. That I'm gonna resolve to learn the truth this year. All right, you
Okay.
all.
All right.
Yeah, thank you all very much for showing up today, and we'll be back again next week with more discussions from the Otherhood. Take care of yourselves and do something productive this week. See you again soon.
All right. Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Have a nice week.
Yeah.